All right, guys. I know y'all want the truth out there, and I'm gonna give it to you. Now, guys,
I'm ready for you to reveal these truths, bro.
You gotta put your two palms together like this, because you know we just start with a grain of sand. And then eventually we want to fill those hands up so that you look at that handful of sand and go, holy shit! I didn't see that this molehill is in fact a mountain. You can't be paranoid enough. And that's what this show is all about. So here we go, guys. Bang, bang, boom, hamburger time. OPEC and its allies agree to extend record oil production cut. Now, I know that is clouded language on purpose. Essentially what that means is the countries that are part of OPEC agreed to produce less oil for a while, right? Supply is too big in comparison to demand while people aren't out there driving around. Prices are falling, people are losing money, people are losing jobs, okay, right? Not a crazy response. But timing can be very interesting on how this ties into some other instances, right?
All right.
Now, you might be saying, now, wait a minute, okay, I've heard of OPEC before, but who's in OPEC? I don't understand this. Who does this apply to, right? So let's take a look. Don't worry, it's Fright Power Hour, I got you back. OPEC was founded in 1960 by 5 countries, namely Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. The 2 I want us to remember here are the Islamic Republic of Iran, formerly our cool friend Iran, who went all fucking sideways in the 80s. I don't know what the hell happened there, man. So Iran and Venezuela, huh? Okay, so let's cut it back a couple of weeks. You guys remember that truth? You still got that pocket full of sand from that show? With fucking Iran sending oil over to oil-rich Venezuela, and while they're sending weapons to Cuba and then warning the U.S. provocation in the Gulf of Mexico. It was all very sketch. It was.
You don't warn me, I warn you.
Yeah, and you don't fucking warn America, dude. We done warned you about that more than once.
You've already been warned.
That's right, that's right. Okay, so those are the people involved directly.
Ben from Gold City says, I always have my pocket sand.
Have it on hand. Okay, so Iran is one of the founding countries of OPEC. So is Venezuela. That part's not as important right now, but it is important to remember the relationship between Iran and Venezuela right now, right? The potential for oil conflict in the Gulf of Mexico, where, by the way, we do have additional oil reserves. Okay, let's move on to the next little grain of sand. Starting to get a couple of grains in your hands there. I understand. Now, what else is going on that would maybe have something to do with this? I'm sure a lot of you are aware in the U.S.'s involvement in the Syrian civil war. If you're not, this is the absolute quickest I can give it to you. In Syria, they're led by a dude named Assad. Assad's got this whole fucking rebel faction that's trying to take down the government there. Well, Iran and Russia, as you can see right here, are the primary political, military, and financial support for Assad's regime, right? Meanwhile, the U.S. is backing the opposition, guys, right? Mm-hmm. Not just the U.S., but there's some other countries as well, including Turkey, which is mildly relatable to what we're talking about, but that's a whole other thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you've got, and you go, okay, all right, I get that. How is that connected? Who gives a shit what they're doing in Syria? Why does that matter? Well, you may question why we're even in Syria in the first place. I don't know if I need to spell it out for you what America's all about, but let's take a look at Syria's mining, mineral, and fuel resources. And let's scroll that right down to a very important heading called fossil fuels. If I need to read this paragraph to you, I will, friends, but I don't think that I do. I think that heading right there makes it very obvious why countries like Russia and the US and Iran would be involved in a small country like Syria.
Because they got them fossil fuel.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that oil.
That's right.
That's right, man, exactly.
Trying to get that oil.
Now, like I said, their government is being backed by Russia and Iran. And you may go, oh, wait a minute. I thought we were trying to get Putin with Putin. What's going on there? I thought that was healing up. Well, let me show you a quick video of Putin with the guy we're talking right here about Assad. Putin with Putin. So there's Putin in the middle. That's Assad on the left. Putin thinks that's pretty funny, huh? Think that's fucking honey? You think that's fucking funny?
You think that's honey?
That's honey? I'm not so sure about this. I don't know what you claim. You're fucking ready for, Assad, but I don't like hearing it. Now, here's where the stuff starts getting complicated. Because not everything is 100% clear about what's going on with Assad. You know what I mean? Sometimes his motives can be unclear, and sometimes his actions can be unclear. And sometimes people come up with shit that he did, and then we don't know if that actually happened or not. It's hard to suss out, but don't worry, this is all gonna make sense in very short time, guys. All right.
Grains of sand.
Little grains of sand, right? So here we go. Assad and Putin are buddies. If you're Trump here in the States and you see that happen, what's the first thing that you think? All right, Russia's gonna get their hands on that oil. He's buddied up with Assad, so they're gonna take the W in Syria when it comes to oil exports, right? And no surprise, that's kind of what Trump figured too, right? Trump to let Assad stay until 2021 as Putin declares victory in Syria. This is December of 2017, guys. Not too long ago. I know that feels like a lifetime for sure.
Jesus, yeah.
In the grand scope of things,
pre-COVID.
wasn't that long. Yeah, very pre-COVID. Goddamn. So, Putin picks up the potential for oil contracts, right? He's buddied up with Assad, and Trump says, fine, let them do whatever they're gonna do, right? Ooh, excuse me. Now,
sounds like a heavy truth.
It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger as we get there. Okay, guys. Now, what happened after that? Anybody remember? I'm sure some of you remember out there. Boop. Syria war, what we know about the Dalma chemical attack. This is one of multiple gas attacks that happened to the rebels in Syria. Now, the question is, was it Assad who gassed his own fucking people?
Right.
Well, there's evidence to both. I'd say the majority opinion is probably that yes, he did. Regardless of who, that still means gas attacks on Syrian people, right?
Yeah.
Even if you couldn't blame, even if it wasn't him that pulled the fucking pin, right? Whatever. You know, that part doesn't even so much matter to me. Fact is, using gas attacks in Syria, there's obvious war crime implications there and blah, blah, blah. It also, just to give it a quick reflection of what's going on in America, whether or not it was them with the gas attacks, the equivalent of the federal government is definitely fucking being extremely violent with the population that is revolting against them.
Right.
Something somewhat similar happening here. I won't say it's the same. Reasoning's very different. Overall cause, there are miles of difference there, but at a cursory glance, I'm just saying federal government against its own people. That's the important part to remember, right? Zach Osborne says the majority opinion is the rebels used the chemical weapons. The official opinion is it was Assad, and that didn't fly. That could be possible too. Like I said, there's both. I'm saying it doesn't so much matter to me. You know what I mean? It's still gas attacks during a skirmish between citizens and their federal government. Right. And I know, guys, I know it's hard to pick out what's true and what's not, especially if you weren't there. So we're just trying to take the facts. What we know for a fact happened is this little kid got gassed.
Right.
We know that part happened. Okay, so now, if in fact the question is about either Assad's motives or his methods or how he, feels about, I guess, just the United States in general and its potential to try to be allied with us instead of in direct conflict. Now, remember, we're still supporting the opposition, the government opposition there in Syria, to my knowledge. At least that's what they're telling us. Now, again, I'm not on the ground. Who knows? I'm sure it's infinitely more complicated if you're actually there. Right? Okay, so let's hear what Assad has to say, and this is, by the way, July 2018. Not too terribly long after that, here's Assad in November 2019, right? And Syria's Assad calls Trump the most transparent president. Now, what he's referring to is saying that Trump was like, yeah, we want that oil, which I don't have a problem with, because that is what this is capitalism, man. You got resources that we want, and you won't make a deal, and this is how it goes on a world scale, man.
You want them to Civ 6 them.
Yeah, basically. So the problem is the additional quote, what do we want more than a transparent foe? So using the word foe in that sentence, I'm not particularly happy with, obviously.
Right.
You don't fucking warn America, we warn you. And regardless of how he feels about Trump listing the United States as a foe at the end of 2019, not too long ago, is a crucial part of the sand we're putting together. So you guys should be, at this point, you're at one handful of sand right now. Right? That's just a basic, that's the most basic Syria primer. If you know nothing about nothing. And don't get me wrong, I'm no fucking Syrian conflict expert. This is just the basic of the basic and trying to remove the opinion from the fact where we can.
You sound like a Syrian conflict expert.
I am not a Syrian conflict. I am not at all. By the way, Stone Monkey in the chat, big congrats to Monkey, bro. We played your clip earlier on.
Congrats Monkey.
On getting married, my man. You better tap that shit today. I don't know what you're doing in here. Go get you a shot and feel up on some butt cheeks. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Krill be under your name and to your family. Congrats to both of y'all. Okay, so Assad clearly lists us as a foe. Now, obviously, when we hear some shit like that, we're not gonna be, oh, wait a minute. We can't just leave you be now when you say some shit like that. Beep, bop, boop. Remember, you don't warn us, we warn you. This was in November 2019. This is in December 2019. Trump warns the fuck back, sends a warning to Assad and his allies against Syrian military offensive, right? So at this point, now the federal government in the United States is saying that you should not use the national military against your civilians. You can think on, you can have whatever opinion you want on that, guys. So President Trump issued a Twitter warning. I don't know why I had to be on Twitter. Thursday warning. Yeah, fuck all that noise. To Syrian strongman president? Is he a power lifter? Bashar al-Assad and his backers. Russia.
The other article called him a strongman too.
Did it? Is that like a common thing for him? I've never even noticed that.
He's paying for compliments.
I suppose so. Yeah. I'm strong, and his backers, Russia and Iran, amid their assault on the last rebel stronghold in the war-torn country. Okay, so they tried to warn us, and we said, "What the fuck? You don't fucking warn us. We warn you. We made that clear many times, time and time again, man."
Sorry, I get angry.
I understand. Okay, so then Assad hears this, and he goes, oh shit, they found out I was talking shit, and now they're pissed, right? No surprise there. This is the United States we're talking about here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't talk shit.
No, you don't, because we're very quick to make your main export glass. That's pretty much what we're doing around here.
Talk shit, get hit.
That's very true, man. Okay, so Syria sees this and goes, oh shit, we need to talk to our backers. So then they go to Russia and they go, you know what, guys? Those war crimes you did where you bombed schools and fucking hospitals in our country, we're going to let all that slide. We're going to let all that shit slide because we need your help right now, right? So here you've got Assad panicking, okay? Now let's take this backwards. Let's take this right back to where we were. Man. And think about where we started with this, with OPEC agreeing to make less oil in the near future, thus artificially, essentially, inflating demand on a global market scale. Let's go back to where we were. Assad panicking. Goes, holy shit, we need to forgive Russia's war crimes because the United States is pissed and we can't have that. Well, in the midst of all of this is 11th of May, by the way. That is less than a month ago. In the midst of all this, all of a sudden, the fucking United Nations pipes up like anybody gives a shit. And an envoy for the UN calls for Russia-US talks to help end Syrian war. Now, first things first, before we even get into this, asking the United States and Russia to not go into small war-torn countries and fight their own little personal battles about having a bigger dick by making foreign countries fight themselves, you're gonna need more than talk. See Korea or Vietnam, but that's beside the point. That's not the point, Bill. The point is I'm sorry. It's the UN is suggesting that now the United States and Russia just suddenly get along with each other so that we can stop the war, the civil war that's happening in Syria. But wait a damn minute. It sounds to me like a terrible idea that has never worked in the past. You know what I mean? And asking it to work in the age where we have a nuclear missile is probably a bad idea too. So after fucking Syria reaches out to the Russian delegation, whatever the fuck they are, after all, they're all pissed scared because they got warned by the US, and the UN comes in with their stupid blue helmets and, oh guys, can everybody just calm down? I imagine everybody in the UN talks and falls down. I don't know. Oh, guys, come on, man, let's just, everybody cool out. Just talk it out. Yeah, just hug it out, bitch, it'll be okay. I'm assuming
Rick and Morty.
I don't know that that's what people from the UN sound like. I'm just guessing. By the way, Soul Vizier fired the Magnum for 357 on the slab to say, it's not in our interest. Why bother getting involved in the Middle East again? Get the fuck out. No Lies Detective. Joseph Kerwin for 5 says, you left out the Iran-Syria pipeline that was proposed before this civil war just sort of sprang up. I'm getting to it, man. I mean, he's correct. We can put that grain of sand in there too. Remember we were talking about Iran backing Syria? Well, why? Everybody was trying to get that oil. And fucking Iran's got a goddamn pipeline already. They're primed to go. Joseph Kerwin is correct.
Is it just me?
Hold up.
Or is it getting crazier out there?
Assad noticed the obvious for 199 on the slab to say, war crime, schmore crime. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. Thank you, Assad. Okay, so they're pissed scared. They reach out to Russia. They already know that Iran is already tied up with some shit in the US, right? They got that whole Gulf of Mexico thing going on. They're not going to be able to call in on them. So they try to call in on Putin. And they go, we paid you a small fortune. And Putin goes, you think that gives you power over me? And then, immediately following, Russia air raid targets northwestern Syria for the first time in 3 months. This was 3 days ago.
Do you feel in charge?
Russia returned to bombing Syria. Now, there you go. Now, here's the caveat to that. It seems like, and it's hard to tell because they didn't actually kill anybody. It was a total wasted bomb. It seems like they were bombing in Assad's favor. And maybe that's the case, but nonetheless, they haven't done that in a while. And literally, as soon as fucking, here we go with the loads. As soon as Dummy reaches out and asks for help, all of a sudden, Putin's like, fuck you, and bombs the countryside. Doesn't kill anybody, but shows them that they are willing to put a fucking air assault on Syria. Okay, now fucking Assad is panicking. He's super panicked. And why would Russia be putting that pressure on to get that oil from Syria? Well, guess what? Russia declares a state of emergency over an Arctic Circle oil spill caused by melting permafrost. Holy shit! What? What the fuck? Okay, so Russia has got an itchy fucking trigger finger because they need to get that oil. They're putting these fucking bombs on the Syrians. That puts pressure on them to make a fucking move. Meanwhile, they're already scared of Americans, but they want to keep their shit going with Russia and with Iran, right? Because they've been sponsoring them so far, and they need to at least keep that thing going until they can find a way to deal with the U.S. Now, U.S. is already partially fucking distracted with the whole Gulf of Mexico thing. And let me ask you this. What were we just talking about the other day, guys? What were we just talking about when people were trying to tell me about the fucking merits of a second civil war on fucking United States soil? And I'm telling you that if I was China or North Korea or Iran or, you know what I mean? That
or
I
Russia.
Would be, or Russia for that matter, I would be watching intently for the moment that the United States is most distracted for me to try to fucking make a move. And this isn't fucking World War II era diplomacy anymore. You gotta cover that shit up in the mass media so that nobody blames you. You're damn near Casus Belliing your fucking self, man. And so guess what fucking Assad does? This son of a bitch. Syria announces military support for moderate U.S. rebels. Fucking Assad said that he will send troops to U.S. soil. Doesn't rule out long-term air attacks on military installations and government buildings in the U.S. Are you fucking kidding me?
This guy is threatening to attack U.S. soil.
He is threatening to put boots on the ground in our country and bomb our military installations, all under the guise of fucking supporting protest. Meanwhile, this is a guy that potentially gasses his own citizens when they protest. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
What the fuck?
Main
You do not want
import
us.
freedom. Main export glass. Do you
We need
understand what the fuck I am saying, man? This is out of control. This is out of control. So if Iran's got a pipeline, they're working with the fucking Syrians. They've got a southern border already hemmed up, itching for a fucking fight. And then all of a sudden, this guy lands what? Near the fucking Great Lakes? Oh my God. That is a fucking assault on my senses.
I'm down here, man. Tilt down.
My
Down.
eagle is screaming.
This is beyond eagle scree. This is beyond my eagle scree. My eagle is flying around in circles and vomiting up yesterday's fish because I cannot believe the words that I just fucking read. Do I need to read it to you again? Syria announces military support for moderate U.S. rebels.
Holy shit.
This motherfucker said he would bomb us. And guess what, guys? Wasn't in the news. Anybody hear about this in the news? No.
Nope.
This is
Nothing.
from Wednesday, June 3rd. Not 3 days ago. I didn't hear, hold up.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
I didn't hear about it until today. And you want to tell me we're not distracted enough to miss an oncoming threat? Guys, we got to come together. We got
Brother.
to come together, America.
Check that chat.
As very fucking important. Twisty Fresh for $100 American. Woo! That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Just says glass. You already know. You already know. Because you know my platform, dude. Bombs in schools, baby. Bombs
And schools.
With the schools, you know the situation. With the bombs, you handle that situation. Done. Done. Thank you, federal
Dunzo.
government. That would be it for me. Holy shit. I mean, is it just me? Is there, and please, if there's a huge component
Or is it
of
getting
this-
crazier out there?
Is it just me or is it getting crazier out there? Now, guys, if there's a huge component of this that I'm missing, I'd love to hear it. Anything to fucking calm me down about this. Because I swear to Christ, I just heard Assad say that he was gonna land motherfuckers on United States soil. And that is a fucking insult that I cannot tolerate. Let me tell you something right now else about America.
This aggression will not stand,
Will not
man.
stand, man. You know, all the fucking Americans ever wanted was their rug back. And I'll tell you this
That's
right
right.
now, man. It's gonna be a gun behind every blade of grass if anybody chooses to make that fucking mistake in America.
Yeah, that would
Unbelievable.
Be bad.
Unbelievably insulting that this motherfucker would cover it up, too. That this motherfucker would say, oh, I'm supporting rebels. You know why he's doing that? So it's only a gun behind half the blades of grass. Because there's going to be motherfuckers out there going, ooh, Assad wants to help us. They try to tell you that shit. Why don't you give them a few grains of sand? Because if you saw what I just saw, these motherfuckers need to make a move on that oil immediately. They need to deal with Venezuela to get that shit cracking. And they need to force the U.S. to do things their way. And why? Let's back it all the way back up, friends. Let's back it all the way back up. Because OPEC decided to extend production cut. He's under more pressure than ever. Now's the time. America's distracted. Now's the time. Pressure from their allies. Now's the time. If you don't think this dude is sweating and you don't think that people that are sweating make rash decisions, man, I don't know what to tell you. Because this looks plain as day to me. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Please, I want somebody to tell me I'm wrong today. I want somebody to prove me wrong, because what the fuck was I just saying this week? I was saying it on goddamn Wednesday, that if we move towards civil war, we are inviting attack from foreign nations looking to take over our fucking resources, land, and freedom. Looking to put a dude.
Not to mention setting up the route down in Cuba.
Dude, I know.
Yeah, they're already setting up routes
Weapons
and shit,
fueling in Cuba already. Holy shit. Please somebody prove me wrong. Please somebody prove me wrong. Please. I beg you.
$5 super chat.
I'm sorry. I'm getting all hot in the biscuit here, man. Joseph Kerman for 5 says, USA supports Syrian rebels and bomb Syria. Let's not act too outraged. Oh, yeah, I'm going to act plenty outraged. It's very different to me to drop bombs on Syria than it is for America to be bombed. You know how they're mad and we go, well, they're supposed to be mad. They're getting bombed. Well, he's talking about bombing us. I'm mad too. Also, this is the Fright Power Hour. I wouldn't, I wouldn't get too worried about it. It's cool, man.
This is the Fright Power Hour. Just keep that in mind.
It's fine, man.
Bombs in schools, baby. Bombs in schools.
Bombs in schools. So that's your first truth out there, guys. I'm going to take a drink of my drink. There it is.
I'm not a criminal. I'm an artist working in an unpopular medium. Can I just...
I'm trying to use all this negative as a fucking message of unification, some solidarity. This country could really do with a little more solidarity, man. You know?
Indeed.
It's a bummer
I know
sometimes.
about your penchant for spying on women.